I want to talk to you about the complexity of your existence here on YouTube once you get monetized. It's not as easy as you think. There's a lot you have to navigate, especially if you do other things creatively, especially if you're a professional artist that has nothing to do with YouTube. It really gets complicated once you get monetized. It just kind of messes with your head. For example, let me show you something real quick. You see what this is? Okay. This is a script. I don't know if you could see that, but what I do is, and I don't want to show you, too much of it, but what I do is I print out 2 pages at a time. And I memorize those 2 pages. I work on those 2 pages every day, right? And then I take those 2 pages and I put them in a binder, in a notebook, and then I add another 2 pages. Now, originally that script was 196 pages, but I formatted it differently. I formatted it almost like a poem. And so now it's like 38 pages or something like that, but the pages are dense. They're like 2 pages is like 8 to 10 pages of a normal script. So anyway, I'm working on a big project, where I have to memorize this entire piece of work by myself, Imagine seeing a play for 2.5 hours and you see like 4, 5, 10, 15 actors on stage and they're sharing all those words together. But imagine seeing one person on stage for that whole 2.5 hours and think understand that they had to memorize that entire 2.5 hours, like the whole script themselves. That's what I'm working on now. And that has everything to do with being monetized right now, because I'm also trying to honor this work here at YouTube as well. So, you know what? It's a beautiful day. It's freezing. It's I think it's 17 degrees here in New York. I'm going to walk out by the Hudson River and talk to you out there because it's a lot more beautiful and because I like you like that. And I'll continue this conversation. So let's go outside. All right. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to use this because I screwed up really bad. Let me just tell you what I'm using real quick. What I wanted to do was I wanted to plug in my lavalier mic into my Hollyland Lark Max, but I forgot to bring the adapter. This does not work directly with, this would work with my smartphone, but I need an adapter for it to work with a professional audio piece of equipment like this. So I'm going to speak directly into the Hollyland Lark Max microphone. The only problem is I was stupid and I didn't bring my wind filter, and it's a little windy out here, and so that might ruin this entire video, and then you'll never be able to see it. So I'm going to try to cover it up and see what happens. But let me just give it a shot and see what happens. All right, you know what? I moved to the other side of the bridge. I'm on the other side of the Hudson River now. I'm smarter because I have my wind filter on now, so this should be working better. So, okay, why is it complicated once you get monetized on YouTube? And, what's the big, why should I complain about anything? Now I'm getting paid to do YouTube, and even though it's just a small amount of money, why should I bring any kind of negativity to it at all? First of all, I want to let you know I'm shooting at f8, so that's kind of, like a good example of how I still get some blurry background even at f8. I don't have to shoot so fast with my aperture all the time. I want you to see the background, but I want it to have a little bit of a vibe. So anyway, I know a lot of people could care less about that. Well, here's part of the problem. First of all, I just showed you that script. So it's just a matter of time. One thing you learn when you're monetized is that you need to post a lot. The thing is, there's watch hours involved and there's subscribers. And what if you lose your watch hours? They're going to demonetize you. So you have to post footage all the time, or content or whatever you want to call it. And that's a fact. The other interesting thing, if I could just talk about gear again for 1 sec, is that I always, even when I'm using the zoom lens, I always find myself shooting at either 28 millimeters or 50 millimeters. It's so funny. That just works for me, The other thing is, if you want to take advantage of this moment where you're making some money, obviously you want to do better and better. And so suddenly you become kind of, conflicted about, should I be doing my work on YouTube right now because I'm getting paid for it and I have an opportunity to make some real money? Or should I be doing the work that I've been doing up until now because I'm probably only going to make about $100 a month doing this, maybe $200. Even if it's $500 a month, you can't pay your bills with that money. So it's kind of complicated. It's not as easy as you think. You have to keep it going. You have to be able to create content constantly and consistently, and ideally every day. And that's no joke. Like, you got to do that. And it's not easy to come up with stuff that is meaningful. I mean, you could come up with a bunch of bullshit all the time, but to come up with stuff that actually means something, that is contributing, that is actually not wasting people's time, is a challenge. The other complication is this, and I've been, seeing this a lot. There's a lot of small content creators that are very supportive, like extremely, extremely supportive of one another, right? And I think that there's a thing called reciprocity that people kind of expect from you, And I experienced this a long time ago. I did a big fundraiser many, many years ago for a play that I was doing. And I got about 650 people to donate money to get me to be able to put this project up off Broadway all by myself without producers. Like, in a way, they were my producers, which was an amazing experience. It was like before people were doing crowdfunding. Like, I kind of invented it, to be honest with you. So anyway, it was an incredible experience. But then years later, I started getting emails from people, and it became like hundreds of people with things like, yo, I donated to your fundraiser, now you need to donate to me. And suddenly people were like writing books, or, because of social media, everybody who wasn't an artist before suddenly became an artist. Suddenly everybody's an author, everybody's a poet, everybody's a performer because they go to open mics. But they're not really professional, you know what I mean? Like, they're not, like, I do this for my life, I don't do anything else. And so I'm not like in corporate America. I don't have a career on the side of being an artist, and a lot of people do. And yet they still want you to do that. And it's totally understandable. You know what I mean? Like, when you do something for somebody, you would expect that they might do the same thing for you. And that's why I think it is good to have a niche. It makes it easier, because then you can talk about the same thing all the time, just, different perspectives. But, people know exactly what they're coming to your channel for. They know what to expect. And, if they enjoy that content, that's why they're coming. I think sometimes when you have a wide array of things that you talk about, it's difficult for people. They don't really know what you're going to be doing from day to day. And for me personally, I like that. I enjoy that. But for many, many people, they don't enjoy that. They want to know that they're coming to see the show that they want to come see. So there's the same complicated notion here at YouTube, where people will come to you and be like, subscribe to my channel. I subscribe to your channel. And I don't really have a problem with that, to be honest with you. Like, how it doesn't hurt me at all to subscribe to your channel. But are you really doing the same kind of work that I'm doing? Are we really doing the same thing? And are you really thinking about like being successful here? Because if you expect everybody to, reciprocate what you did for them, you're probably barking up the wrong tree in terms of really being successful, because what you really need to do is to get, continue to get new subscribers and new people to your channel and expand your audience. Like, when you're going to see camera conspiracies, you know what you're getting. When you're going to see Gerald Undone, you know what you're getting. When you're going to see Potato Jet, you know what you're going to see. And, I don't know, I guess Mr. Big is the same, even though I seem to be apparently the only human being who's never heard of Mr. Big or has never seen his channel, but people keep leaving his name in my comments, so I got to check that out. But I'm thinking you probably know what you're coming for when you go to see that guy. It's the same thing as, if you're a musician or an actor or a filmmaker or whatever, if your family, supports you all the time, that's awesome. If all of your friends support you all the time, that's awesome. But you're not really, quote unquote, making it until you start to have people that you don't know coming to your shows, buying your music, buying your paintings. Like, you got to expand beyond your friends. Here, I think it's kind of, I don't know. It's difficult because I definitely don't just talk about one thing. And I won't just talk about one thing. That's why I always tell people, if you have a YouTube channel, don't tell anybody in your life that you have a YouTube channel. Don't share it on social media. Don't do any of that, because you're trying to create a whole new audience. But the thing is, I'm not really that kind of YouTube ambitious. I'm ambitious with my filmmaking and my playwriting and my performance, but I'm not as ambitious. Well, let me put it this way. I certainly would love to be hugely successful at YouTube. It would be awesome to be able to make real money here at YouTube while also having this gigantic reach. Like if I could get, the kind of subscribers that Marcus Brownlee and iJustine and people like that get, how awesome would that be for me, a filmmaker and a playwright and a performing artist, to have that kind of a reach? You're trying to create something that is kind of breaking through the walls of your life to put you into a whole different realm so that you can expand. It could revolutionize the way I do my work. It could make me rethink the whole thing. It could give me so much power. And friends and family is amazing and necessary. And those are the people who you should keep close to you always. Because in fact, the bigger you become, the more those people close to you are the only ones who you can really trust. Because suddenly everybody's going to want something from you. Everybody's going to try to get something from you because they think you have money and they think you have power and they think you have position and that you could help them. But you can't most of the time, You could just take care of yourself. You could just do what you do for you. And you can't take care of everybody else in the world. So that's something that you need to bear in mind. Sorry, my mouth is getting really cold because it is freezing out here. It is like 18 degrees or something like that, and it's a little windy. So my hand is freezing too. I don't know how long I'm going to last. And that's the other complicated part of this. That the more expansive you become, the bigger your audience becomes, the more people you start to engage with, the more you have to kind of navigate your life a little bit differently and realize that this is separate from your personal life. But how awesome would that be for me to have that kind of reach, that kind of power, self-empowerment, where I could basically do whatever I want. If I'm getting paid enough money here, then I can get my art out to people and not have to expect people to have to pay exorbitant fees for tickets and things like that I have nothing to do with. When I played at theater, I have nothing to do with how much the tickets cost. I have nothing to do with the fees that they charge you that piss you off, Like a ticket that's $35 is suddenly $65 because of all these fees. I got nothing to do with that. So if I have a gigantic reach here at YouTube, I could control that. That's an interesting thought. And like I said, keep the people close to you. And those who really love you will hold you and support you in this and protect you, in fact. It makes me wonder how much I should really put into this. But one thing I am going to do, definitely, I'm going to be as consistent as I can. And I'm going to try to make sure that every single video that I put out is from the best of intentions, I'm trying to contribute. I say that over and over again, but I'm absolutely trying to contribute. I'm not trying to take advantage of just being here and just making some money. That's for the easy mode people. They're just trying to make money. I'm not trying to just make money, but I would like to make money. I've experienced that as well. I have a good friend who has won Grammy Awards and Academy Awards and stuff like that, and the only people she really trusts and stays close to are the people who've been with her since she was a little kid. Friends and family, and that's it, because she's had some horrible experiences. It kind of gets to the point where, like I said, you don't know who is really being your friend or who's just trying to get something from you. I want to get paid for my filmmaking. I want to get paid for my theater work. I want to get paid for the consulting that I do and helping people with their art, doing workshops, helping people learn how to use cameras, how to speak in front of a camera, how to get on stage, like that stuff I want to get paid for, and I do get paid for it. So we're not there, you know what I mean, with talking about YouTube influencers or content creators or whatever. But I'm just saying there's a lot of stuff that's kind of complicated. Managing your time, managing your attention and your focus on your work, managing people's feelings, being able to tell the difference between somebody who gets it and somebody who doesn't get it. And just being honest with yourself on the level of work that you're doing. YouTube can be an awesome opportunity for me, so I'm thinking about it a lot. If you're really trying to get to a high place, I think you have to really attend to the work as professionally as you can and try to put out the best content that you could possibly put out. And don't fall prey to trends and things that are only going to last like 6 months or even a year or something like that. If you want something that's sustainable, you're probably going to try to get as much quality as you possibly can into your work. Just something to think about. But anyway, I just want to tell you, it's a lot to navigate. You have to make sure that you do it consistently. You have to be careful about the reciprocity factor, which personally I don't believe in. I ain't mad at you if you don't subscribe to my channel. I ain't mad at you if you don't hit the like button. I'm not mad. I want you to do what you want to do. I'm not going to ask you to do that. I mean, you know what? People are telling me to be more diligent about saying, please subscribe, please hit the like button. Okay, I'm doing that. But I'm just telling you, I'm not mad at you if you don't do that. I want you to be here because you want to be here. So anyway, there's a lot going on around here. I'm going to get out of here, but I just had that on my mind and I wanted to share that today. And hopefully I share this because I don't know if the wind screwed up this whole thing. To me, this is like any other relationship. I'm not going to beg anybody to love me, to like me, to be here. I want you to be here because you want to be here. You know, I'm not trying to manipulate you. I'm not trying to use marketing. I'm not trying to brand myself as something that is not me. I'm giving you the straight up, honest, this is who I am. This is what I do. This is what I believe in. This is what I like to talk about. This is the kind of conversation that I like to start. These are my intentions. I'm not trying to be shady. I'm not trying to be sneaky. I'm not trying to be manipulative in any way, shape, or form. I'm just trying to be honest, transparent, vulnerable. I'm trying to be all of that. This is a Hollyland Lark Max. I know they just came out with a tiny little microphone, which is really appealing to me because I hate the way this thing looks. And I'm trying to bring people together. That's really my intention with all my work. And, you know, a lot of people might find that unusual to hear, but that is my intention. I am trying to bring people together. That's what I want. And I want to become a better filmmaker. You know, like YouTube allows me to practice a lot. But the fact that I could plug in my lavalier mic when I have my adapter makes this very appealing too, because then I could just put it in my pocket, hide the lavalier mic anywhere so that you can't see it. And it's a great piece of equipment for audio. Like right now, I'm shooting in really challenging circumstances. It's crazy sunny. It's hard to get to get the right exposure in this kind of situation. So it's always good to practice, to just try to make it look good. It helps me with my color correcting and color grading. It helps me with my audio. It helps me with my composition. I didn't really think much about the composition in this shot, but I always look at the frame. I'm always trying to make it look good. I don't think that I ever put out a frame that just looks stupid, because I always do look at it because I always think that I want it to look like a painting. It's going directly into the camera as well. So YouTube is a great thing for me. It's a great tool. It's something that makes me a better artist. And I believe that if I get a bigger audience, it's something that can only help me to become a better person as well. I'm always looking to grow my empathy. I'm always looking to bring things up that are difficult for other people to talk about so that it grows all our empathy. And for those who care, I'm using the Panasonic S5, the original. I don't know. I kind of strayed from the beginning of this. I do that a lot. It's hard for me. You know, my friend Luis Cabral always says to me, get some talking points, get your talking points. And I never seem to be able to do that. But yet, I'm happy with what I'm doing. And I'm grateful for this opportunity. And it's fun. I think it's fun. I think it's interesting, and I have, established, some type of relationship with quite a few people from this platform, and I'm grateful for that. I appreciate that. I think that's a great thing. And I'm actually shooting with the Panasonic 20-60 kit lens today, just because I'm just out here having fun today. I've met people over the years, the people who I'm closest to in my life are people who I've met from my art, from my music, from my theater work, from my filmmaking. Those are the people who are in my life. I don't really have any friends who are not artists. I don't have any people in my life who are in corporate America. Recently I was talking to somebody and she was talking about things that corporate America people know about. And, I didn't even know what HR meant. She said to me, somebody, talk to HR. I'm like, what is HR? Home run? I don't even know what that means. And, human resources. So I live in a different world than people like that. Have a beautiful day. So anyway, Be consistent. Understand that when you get to this point of being monetized, that you're starting all over again. You work for years to get monetized, in my case at least. I don't know, some people do it really fast, but for me it took years. But then when you get monetized, you're starting all over again. Learning how to navigate to first of all, keep your monetization, and then to learn how to grow it. Then you have to deal with the issue of reciprocity, and you have to navigate that. And I say, you know, follow your heart. Do what you think is right. You know, I'm a professional performing artist, so I think about it a little bit differently than a lot of people. I don't really think that way. I am completely supportive of everybody in my life. I want everybody to do well. And I don't feel like I compete with anybody, and I don't feel like I have any competition. I don't look at it like that. I just focus on my own work. I don't worry about what anybody else is doing or not doing, or I don't care. I'm just trying to become the best artist that I can possibly become. So as a result, I don't feel any competition. You know, I'm not running next to you like that. But I will lift you, I will help you, I will support you, I will be, you know, a true champion of you every single time. If I see you're working hard and I see that you're really serious about what you do, I could be your biggest champion. You know, I could be a good friend like that. But if I just see that you're just trying to be popular, you're just trying to, like, you know, be a celebrity, I'm not into that. That doesn't inspire me. I mean, I don't hate you for it. It doesn't ruin my day, but it's just not interesting to me at all. People who are just trying to be celebrities, just trying to be famous, just trying to be popular, I am zero interested in that. I am interested in people doing the work, making art, or making whatever this YouTube thing is. I am very, very interested in people who take this seriously and treat it as a craft, as work, as something to build, not just to be popular. And I guess that, in a way, is a craft in itself, but you know, if I'm being really honest, I'm just not thrilled by that. It doesn't mean anything to me. And I guess the last thing is, yeah, I would say don't tell anybody what you're doing on YouTube who you're close to. I mean, you could talk about it, but don't tell them to come watch. Don't share it on Facebook or Instagram, because, you know, those views are empty anyway. When somebody clicks on a link from Facebook and watches your YouTube video, it doesn't even count as a view. So I would say get on this platform and work it, and try to reach to people who have never seen you before, and be patient. Be patient and just do the work, and don't worry about the numbers. I have been guilty of being frustrated at the numbers. I'm telling you from experience, don't do that. No good can come from being frustrated with that. Focus on the work. Do the work. Develop yourself. Develop your writing. Develop your communication skills. Develop your camera skills. Develop all of it. Do the work. Learn SEO. That's what I'm doing now. I didn't even know what SEO meant. I'm learning my SEO. I'm dealing with my titles and my thumbnails more. I'm trying to learn how to do this, but, you know, for a way that works for me. Figure out how it works for you. You know, do what's best for you. But you ain't in no race with anybody else. You're not in competition with anybody else. You might think you are, but you're not. And there's plenty of room for everybody. So just do what you got to do. And that's all I want to talk about today. I got other things to do. So, yeah, all of that. I'll see you in a minute. Bye. Please subscribe. Please hit the like button. And please consider joining my Patreon. And I will see you in a minute. All right.